Hey, Matt here from RetroOnly.com. Before we start today's video about the Switch dock, I just wanted to remind you to hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons so that you can see more content like this video. Have you ever played the Nintendo Switch and wondered why you couldn't find the dock anymore for it? Maybe you broke yours and have been looking for a replacement. Well, you're probably wondering if Nintendo discontinued the Switch dock. Although Nintendo did discontinue the dock for the Switch in 2017, in 2019 Nintendo began offering the Switch dock as a separate purchase for the first time. If you want to know more about the Nintendo Switch and the Switch dock, and why it is so hard to find them, you will want to keep watching. Why is the Switch dock so hard to get a hold of? It would seem that in the US at least, Nintendo hasn't produced fresh stock of these docks for quite some time. And given that we're over 3 years into the Switch's lifespan, and there's still no sign of new units arriving, it seems that Nintendo has decided that selling the dock on its own doesn't make a great deal of sense. As to why this is the case, there are a number of potential reasons. Perhaps, outside of a few vocal voices, there really isn't all that much demand for a second Switch dock. Nintendo's wish is also that everyone in your house owns a Switch, rather than a single household just having a single console used by everyone. It might seem a little greedy, but it's not really that different from what we currently have with mobile phones or even tablets. In today's world, people tend to want their own personal device. If this is happening in some homes, and we have no reason to suspect it isn't, then it may be that people actually have more docks than they really need and not less. If there's only one main TV, but 3 Switch consoles, then 2 of those docks are going to waste. We've also got to take into account that there are more than a few third-party Switch docks on the market. Despite fears that they are bricking systems, the lower price of these alternative options may well have wiped out a lot of demand for the official dock, which is why Nintendo has stopped producing it in large quantities. Have you had trouble finding a second Switch dock? Or have you simply opted for a cheaper third-party option? Thankfully, Nintendo of America is offering an official Switch dock for much cheaper now than a new Switch, although it is far from cheap. And these docking stations can be found at many retailers online and off. You will want to remember that in most cases they are refurbished and come with a 90-day warranty. These refurbished docking stations sometimes do not come with any of the necessary cords, so be sure and check if the one you are buying has the cords you need or not. If you are looking for a Switch dock, the third-party option is always going to be your cheapest option around. Even with Nintendo saying that they could get you a good price on one, there are many people that don't agree with Nintendo charging so much, especially for an add-on accessory. For many people, using places like Amazon or eBay are great alternatives to buying an extra Switch dock, and the return policies on those sites means that any issues can easily be resolved. So why is the Switch hard to find? In 2017, Nintendo announced that they had shut down all productions of their newest console, the Nintendo Switch. At that time, it was already almost sold out in every retailer. This announcement came after the announcement that they were discontinuing the NES Classic, which was also sold out at every retailer. Nintendo then released a newer Switch model in 2019, which has been met with increasing popularity. It is because the Switch is incredibly popular, and Nintendo's odd model of not shipping out enough supply to meet demand, that has caused the Switch to become incredibly hard to find. Nintendo is notorious for doing this with all of their platforms, including the re-releases of the Nintendo Classic and the SNES Classic as well. People can almost always rely on there being a shortage of everything that Nintendo releases, which in our opinion seems like a pretty poor business model. Back in 2019, Nintendo began offering the Switch dock as a separate purchase for the first time. The dock was an authentic Nintendo product, albeit refurbished, so there is no chance of it bricking your Switch, as is the risk with many third-party alternatives. Reliable Nintendo Switch docks are hard to come across. A brand new official first-party version will be quite expensive and still has limited availability, even if it is in stock in your region. Nintendo made a point of promoting the fact that yes, you can buy a second dock for your console. And despite the high price, it made a lot of sense, as in many households, there's going to be more than one television. Simple logic dictates that you're going to want to use your system in more than one room. A dock set was soon released and included the dock, a power supply, and an HDMI cable. This was everything you needed to get your Switch up and running on a second TV, but it was far from cheap. So what are some of Nintendo Switch's best games? Have you ever wondered what the Switch's best games are? No matter if you play them on the TV or on the console in your hand, Nintendo has made some pretty great games. Here are some of our favorite games for the Nintendo Switch. Celeste, Dragon Quest XI, Zelda: Link's Awakening, Fire Emblem: Three Houses, Super Mario Maker 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, The Witcher 3, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Super Mario Odyssey, Legends of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. So let's wrap it up. Although Nintendo Switches are hard to get a hold of, that is true for almost every single console that Nintendo has ever released. For some reason, they have that as their business model, to keep demand high by not giving people the consoles that they want to buy. The pricing for a Switch dock or Switch dock set are still quite high in our opinion, but is certainly far cheaper than the price of buying another Switch. Now that you know about Nintendo and them discontinuing the dock, you will likely want to go and purchase a third-party dock rather than spending a fortune on one from Nintendo. Although there is normally no problem with the third-party dock, sometimes they can cause issues. This is why it is so important to look at the reviews of the seller if buying from places like eBay or Amazon, and not just go and buy the cheapest one you can find. Most of the time in electronics, you get what you pay for, so spending the extra $5 to $10 to buy from a seller with good reviews and a store with a good return policy is certainly worth it. You won't have to worry about it damaging your console, as so many other people before you have tested this product, and if there are issues with the dock not working at all, you can easily return it. No matter if you're playing on the TV, or if you're up and moving, or even sitting with the handheld console, you have to give Nintendo credit for how great their game systems are, and all the games that come with the console. Not only are they fun to play, but they are also challenging and exciting. This has been Matt from RetroOnly.com. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.